Hello everyone and welcome back. I want to come on here and have a quick little chatty video with you guys, tell you what I've been up to and just catch up a little bit. So I have my cup of coffee, no tea today because, you know, mom life. I drink about 3 of these a day to stay on top of everything with my little dude. But what I have been into recently is exploring my traveler's notebook more. I wanted to share with you guys some of my thoughts and kind of what I'm working on. So I have a few different journals, right? I've got my personal journal for thoughts and notes. I've got my scrapbooking memory archive, my planner, my traveler's notebook, and my garden journal. And that can be quite a bit, not gonna lie. Not to mention I've got scraps of paper for, you know, household notes, shopping lists, just all that. And I'm really focusing on how to condense everything down into a more compact and manageable system. And the Traveler's Notebook is really appealing to me right now because I can get these inserts that are fairly small and have a bunch of different subjects in one cover. And I can also fill these up really quickly so that way when I'm feeling restless and bored, I can take one out, put a new one in, and get a fresh start to keep me motivated and keep me inspired. So that's what I'm exploring right now. I took out my note section that was in here. I had a whole journal that was just my accounting notes for school. And I took that out because I'm using it for classes and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just not as inspiring for me anymore. I'm so busy that the time it takes to print everything out and put it in there is just kind of a lot. But I do have some exciting news in that vein. I ordered a printer. So usually I have to go over to my grandpa's house. He lives down the street, so it's not a big deal, and I love visiting with him. But every time I need to print something for school or something creative, it's just kind of an inconvenience. I still go over there all the time just to hang out with him and stuff like that. But now I will have my own printer so I can print stuff at home. I don't have to use his ink and paper as much. And I think that's really going to open up my creativity because it'll just be immediate. When I'm feeling that creative flow to print out some pictures for my journal or whatever, I can do it. One of the things I'm really inspired by Sarica Studio, I think I'm saying that right. Hi, kitten. She does traveler's notebooks, and she has a really cool way of printing her photos on sticker paper. And I really love that idea because they're so much thinner than the printed photo paper I use with my Kodak Retro. So I got some like sticker labels that are pre-cut, and I'm going to try to print my photos on those and see how that works out. I don't have a Cricut or whatever it's called, circuit, I don't know how to say it. Pixie, hey, you're shaking the camera, cat. Go. Thank you. But yeah, I don't have like a cutter to cut out pictures like she does with like her own personalized setup because she has a sticker shop. But I figured the pre-cut labels might be a cool solution for that. So stay tuned for some more scrapbooky stuff coming soon once my printer arrives. But anyway, getting into my notebook, let me show you guys what I have been up to. So I'm being very creative with this, as you can see. And first off, I did a key on the side here with different moods and a color system. So when I write the date, I'm going to highlight with whatever mood or thought process I'm in at the time. So you can see July 15th, I was stressed out, and that's because of school and being in school and taking care of a baby. Pixie, just messing with the tripod. But yeah, being in school and taking care of a baby is quite a bit, especially such a mathematically heavy class like accounting. Like the math isn't terrible, it's really just basic equations, but knowing what numbers come from where and all of that is very confusing. So safe to say I've been very stressed out recently, but journaling has been a nice outlet to clear my mind and do something a bit more creative. So I've gone through and I've just decorated a few pages and I've slowly been filling them in throughout the day. I'm also trying to be a bit more precise with my handwriting. I don't love my handwriting. It's kind of sloppy and I just write really quickly. So like I have a stream of conscious thought that's just like flowing on the paper, which is great. But then when I look back and try to read it, it's basically chicken scratch. So I'm trying to be a little bit more methodical, and hopefully with practice, my handwriting will improve. So we'll see on that. But I've been having a lot of fun just going through and trying out different layouts and putting in different color schemes and things like that. So this has been fun too. Just sit on the couch while my son's taking a nap and kind of play around with. But I did order a traveler's notebook from Sarica Studio, which I really hope I'm saying that right. And she uses the Tomo, I don't know how to say it, Tomo River paper. It's like a really popular one, and oh my cat's getting a spider right now. And it's really thin, and it's supposed to be great with fountain pens and stuff like that. I don't use fountain pens, but I'm always happy to try something new. I usually like thicker paper because of like bleed through, but we'll see. We'll see. I am optimistic. I'm always willing to try something new. I do really love her embossing on the front of her notebooks. She's got one with like this really pretty fern on it, and I love it so much. I ordered the blank one first to try it out and see how I like it, how it fits, but I may possibly get the fern one in the future and turn that into my new garden journal. I love my cloth and paper traveler's notebook, but I caught myself shopping the other day for a passport-sized traveler's notebook, and I stopped myself. I'm like, okay, why am I looking at a passport traveler's notebook? I don't need one. I have my cloth and paper one. But I kind of want something a little more personal for on-the-go journaling. And while I love my current garden setup in that notebook, I just kind of feel like that's another thing that I could condense. Instead of having it spread out over 3 notebooks, maybe just put it in 1 notebook. And it'll be a little bit easier to archive, a little bit easier to reference each year because it's all contained in 1 notebook. There's a lot of thoughts going on in this brain, but I might experiment with that in the future. But first I want to get her blank one tested out, and the blank one I'm actually going to be turning into a reading journal, which leads me to the other thing I've been doing more recently, which is reading on my Kindle. I'm currently reading Gods and Monsters. This is the 3rd and final book in the Serpent and Dove series, and I've been enjoying the series. The 2nd book was a bit slow for me. It kind of dragged out a bit more than it needed to, which after reading reviews, it seems like a lot of people felt that way. The 1st book was amazing. The 1st book I absolutely devoured. It had enemies to lovers. It had, you know, marriage arrangement and just touch or you die energy, which I love. But it wasn't just about the romance or spice. I do not like books that's solely romance and no plot. I love plot. I love character growth. I love magic systems. And this book definitely has it. While it does drag at some points, it does have some really lovable characters. It's got some fun themes and definitely plenty of romantic conflict. We'll say that much. But after finishing the 2nd book, I was hesitant to read the 3rd just because I was afraid it was going to drag again. The way the last book ended kind of led me to believe like, oh wow, we had all this character growth and everybody's great, and then this one thing happened, and now like that character growth, where is it? Is it going to be another book of just drawn out miscommunication, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I am giving it a shot, partially because I don't like to leave series unfinished. I like to know how they end, and partially because this was on Kindle Unlimited, so I didn't have to pay for it. If I had to pay $12 for it, I don't know, I might have skipped it, but I'm gonna give it a shot and I'll see. If you guys want to see a full video when I set up my reading journal and I could talk more about this series in depth, let me know, and that might be something I would be into if you guys want to hear about it, of course. But the Kindle has been really nice. I've had this Kindle, oh my gosh, for so many years, and I really abused it. I don't have a cover on it. It's got some scratches on the screen, but it does the job just fine, and I'm very much attached to it. So it's nice because I can pick it up really easily with one hand while I'm feeding my son or while I'm walking around the house with him. He's sleeping right now, but he's going through a phase where he does not want to be set down. I try to do tummy time with him. I try to play with his little toys, his crinkle books, his stuffies, and no, he just wants to cuddle, which I love. But my baby's very heavy. He's in the 96th percentile. He's 3.5 months and he weighs 17 pounds. And so carrying him around all day kills my back. But I love him so much. I will do it for him, and I can read my book at the same time. Because if I had a paper book that I had to hold open and use 2 hands to flip pages, there's no way I could manage that. And that shows because I have a book on my nightstand. It's a motivational reference type book, and those books I really like to annotate. So I prefer them in paper so I can put notes and highlight and stuff like that, which I know you can do on the Kindle, but let's be honest, it's not the same. And I have barely touched that book over the past few weeks because by the time I get my son to bed, I get myself to bed, I have no time to sit down and read because I'm like, I need to sleep because this kid's gonna be up in 3 hours. And no, we are prioritizing sleep over other things. But yes, I've been really enjoying getting back into reading and my Kindle. Another thing I want to share with you guys that I've been doing recently is I got these off of Amazon, Rethink 120 daily meditation cards. So I try to be mindful. I don't always have time to do like a full-on meditation session, but being present, being aware of, my surroundings and stuff like that, and those kind of things are very important to me. So I have this, and it has a bunch of different cards. So we've got gratitude and appreciation, breathing techniques, mindful practice, and affirmations. And what I did is I sorted them all out into different piles, and then I grabbed them in order. So that way I've got an even representation. So I'll grab a card and read it, and then I'll just leave it out so that as I walk past it throughout the day, it's on a little shelf that I walk past all the time. I can look at it, I can reflect, I can practice whatever technique it's talking about. So this one says, name 3 ways in which you can practice self-care and nurture your well-being and feel grateful for the opportunity. For me, 3 ways I do self-care is obviously journaling, being creative on pen and paper and getting my thoughts out of my head. Beautiful. Another way is through being outside in nature, being in my garden, going on walks. Oh my gosh. Never underestimate the power of a good walk. And let's see. Right now reading is a big form of self-care because it's relaxing and, it's like watching a movie in your head. So yeah, I'm grateful for those opportunities. I'm grateful for my garden to be in, grateful for my Kindle to read on. I'm grateful for my beautiful journals that I can play with. So yeah, that's what I've been doing recently, and it's just been a nice reminder and kind of cool to go each day and be like, oh, let me pick out my card for the day. I don't want to see ads. Yeah, that's much prettier. And speaking of garden, I have some zinnia flowers that I picked. This one's starting to die back, which is sad, but look how gorgeous that orange color is. I am in love with these zinnias. I'm hoping to get more big ones like this. And it makes me kind of sad to cut them. Ooh, there's an aphid in here too. But it's actually really good for the plant to cut the flowers off. It signals to the plant to keep blooming and putting more flowers off. The purpose of the flower is to create seeds and spread the seeds for more flowers. So if you cut it off before it dies back and sprouts out seeds, the plant says, oh darn, our life purpose hasn't been fulfilled yet, put more flowers out. And I already see quite a few buds blooming on my zinnias that should start flowering very soon. So I brought these inside and I've been enjoying them in the living room. But anyway, that is it for today, guys. I just want to come in and have a fun little chatty tea with Lee type video. If you are doing any self-care, I would love to hear your 3 self-care items in the comment section below, and any book recommendations for after this one. I love fantasy, I love romance, I love a good plot line. I'm kind of looking for a one-off book because I love series, but if a series isn't complete, I won't read it because I need to read all of it at once. I will 100% forget what happened in the last book by the time the next one comes out. So if you have any one-off books that you recommend, I would love to hear it. But until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.